Her Emotion will saddle two fillies in the Central Bank Ashland Stakes on Saturday. Let's talk about, is it Tuttipaesi?
Tuttipaesi, yes.
Really impressive in her U.S. debut. Did she just regress or have some trouble the second race? Tougher field?
Yeah, I don't think she regressed. I thought she ran a race. To be honest, I thought the difference between winning and being third was the trip. Kitten's Point had a great trip. She was in the perfect spot. Tuttipaesi was never really in a comfortable spot, and I think that made the difference.
I saw where this filly won, I guess in Italy on Polytrack or England. So she obviously likes the synthetic surface. Have you gotten a feel for how she likes this particular one yet?
Not really. I wouldn't say she's been here long enough to do that, but we've always felt confidence that she would handle it after she ran on it in Italy.
What have you noticed about her since she's come into your barn as far as what have you learned about her through two races?
I'll tell you one thing, she's improved a lot. I mean, when she first came to me, she was very nervous, very wound up. She really has adjusted to the American system, and I've been impressed with her workouts. You know, actually her and Kitten's Point have been working together, so...
What about being on the inside, down on the rail?
I mean, I'm not too worried about it. I think it's always good here to have a good post, especially in a big field like that, so I'm not overly concerned.
Kitten's Point ran big certainly here last fall on the turf. Have you worked her on any synthetics?
You know, she broke a maiden on a synthetic at Presque Isle, so again, she works very well at Fair Hill on the Tapeta, so I'm really not too concerned, and that's why I felt comfortable running these guys here.
Tell me about her last race. You said she got the better trip. What impressed you about what she did?
Well, I was really impressed with her because her Breeders' Cup race to me was a bit of a mystery. She just didn't seem to fire that day. I think I just threw too much at her too quickly, probably. She came back, she ran a very good race to finish second, I believe, in an allowance race, kind of a troubled trip. And just really stepped up the other day to win a pretty good race.
In such a big field for either one of these fillies, any particular quirks they have in terms of, you know, needing room to run or being one more tractable than the other, anything like that?
I don't think so. I think if anything, it'll help Tuttipaesi having a bigger field, having a chance to get it covered up and settled. I don't think either one of them will be too far off the pace, so I'm not too concerned.
Tell me about the race for Animal Kingdom and just what that meant to you. It seemed like you were really emotional when I was watching on TV.
Yeah, well, I'm an emotional guy anyway, so... but it was emotional. I mean, you know, that was the fruits of a year. You know, we've been pointing for that race since the previous February when Barry first mentioned it to me. So to be able to have things work out and get through all his workouts and his races without ever having a hiccup, that's something I hadn't had a chance to do with that horse. And just to see him peak that week in Dubai, I've never seen him train like he did that week. I kind of felt like I was walking on eggshells all week, just waiting for the day to come. And he ran such a powerful race. I mean, it's probably the most prestigious race in the world. How could you not be emotional?
Is there a little point of pride there too? I mean, he's a Derby winner, but then when a horse has an injury issue or something and kind of disappears, maybe they don't fully are remembered or get the credit they deserve.
Yeah, I mean, that was always something I'd said, that I'd never had a chance to prove that his Derby wasn't a fluke, and I knew it wasn't a fluke, and I knew what a good horse he was, but I just wanted to give him a chance to prove it, and as he did, he got to prove it on a really international stage.
You know, he's been outstanding on three different surfaces, synthetic, dirt, and turf. Do you have a guess for which he prefers?
I mean, I think he's more comfortable on the grass. I think it's a credit to him that he won the Derby. I don't think dirt is his natural service. I think he's just an exceptional horse. I think it takes a grass horse to handle the Tapeta, and that's what happened in Dubai. You know, I wasn't surprised that he handled the Tapeta. I was getting concerned halfway through the night when all the other American horses were struggling, but I'm not surprised. I think ultimately he's most comfortable on a grass surface.
And lastly, is the plan still to run him at Royal Ascot?
Yeah, he ships to England tomorrow. Alice Clapham was with him. He leaves 6 o'clock from Meydan tomorrow morning, and he should be bedded down in England by feed time tomorrow afternoon. So, you know, it's going to be an exciting trip. We're going to see how he trains over there. I want to see that he's training the way he did leading up to the World Cup, and I think John Massara feels the same way. You know, this is something he wants to do, but he wants to do it under the right circumstances if the horse is doing well, so he's got to take us there.